Welcome once again on to News Tonight at 10. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Let's delve into the bulletin. Now, President Museveni has announced plans to construct an international airport in Kanungu district. Speaking as the chief guest at the International Community of Banyakigezi ICOB event in Kanungu, Museveni emphasized that the airport will boost tourism in the nature-rich Kigezi sub-region. The convention, which unites people from the 7 districts of Greater Kigezi as well as those from other districts and the diaspora, is held annually in one of the 7 districts to discuss social and economic development.
Hundreds of the Banyakigezi community has gathered in Meizimera Hotel grounds in Kanungu district for this year's Banyakigezi convention. This year's International Community of Banyakigezi ICOB convention has been graced by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni, as the chief celebrant.
It's our great honor, Your Excellency, to receive you in Kigezi and in Kanungu in particular.
The ICOB convention is an annual event which brings together members of the Banyakigezi communities living in the diaspora and in Uganda.
On behalf of the board and the executive committee of the Uganda chapter ICOB, I welcome you to the 10th edition of the ICOB Uganda chapter convention in Chihihi, Kanungu district.
For this event has been attended by, among others, the former Prime Ministers of Uganda, Ruhakana Rugunda, John Patrick Amama Mbabazi, Ministers Dr. Chris Baryomosi, key political figures and religious leaders from Kigezi community.
And we again thank you, Your Excellency, for the promotion of peace and security within the East African region, within Africa and the world at large.
Chaitaga Kigezi twine minerals twine ebyomwitaka nitwetaga the factory here iron ore okubihinduramu kubitamu value kandi echo inomu plani nitwetaga Your Excellency okatuhereza skilling center eyo kugonjura abana beitu erikabale katwantukushabangu the northern part of Kigezi Karukunjiri na Kanungu ostereyo endijo abo kweminyeto twine minyeto minji.
On such meetings, the Banyakigezi community put emphasis on development and national issues.
Eminyeto abarema kandi n'abagurusi, Your Excellency, esente z'orukutuha ni nyingi zongire kwimbusia omutindo gwa abantu bito ko bahoje kandi no kutuma babona capital okuba involved.
We would like to have an interaction with you at an appropriate time you may choose. They have some issues which have been able to go through myself and have not been able to resolve them.
Addressing the gathering, President Museveni did put emphasis on the development of the area.
And we are allowing them to undermine their natural resource, which was land. This is really a big mistake. So I think let's resolve this issue of enterprise selection. Read what we said, you respond to it, what do we do? And then we meet again like in February. I will look for you, for the executive, and we talk.
To boost tourism in Kigezi, Museveni reveals plans to establish an international airport in Kigezi. Museveni, however, condemns politics of individualism and identity manifesting in Greater Kigezi.
Mbona kurra abantu bagamba edini abakatoliki abaprotestanti abasilamu nyowe ndiyo mukozi tinyine kintu kwenda ha muntu wena ikinkoro no mu Uganda n'obusinyi ahandi nyine ente zanjye tinyine kintu kwenda obunabe ni shoma tene munyankore wa Nyambiri wanyambire amazuka guta nyabe atulenteze akampera taruha munyangora kujya kinka kuyambe kina taruha munyadini wanyambire idini oprotestanti obukatoliki obusiramu kwenda huko shetani. What are you telling me? Nongaseraki ababona oburani shobo bakangaseraki abakubikora umanye ngo ntangata kuja kubashemero.
This has been the 27th International Community of Abanyakigezi Convention, an annual event which happens every year. Robert Anyango, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much there, Robert. Now the National Coordinator of Wealth Creation and Senior Presidential Advisor, General Caleb Salim. Yes, General Caleb Salim, commonly known as Saleh, has expressed dissatisfaction with the ongoing expression of investors by local government officials. He highlighted that the demand for kickbacks from development partners has driven away many potential opportunities from Uganda. General Saleh was speaking in Gulu.
For the past 2 decades, government of Uganda has opened up its doors to both local and foreign investors with the main aim of boosting development and creating employment. However, this initiative has faced setbacks as some leaders continue to set barriers for potential investors.
All the local governments are hostile to investors. I don't know why. They are hostile to the private sector.
While addressing a group of business community leaders in Gulu City this week, General Saleh also called on local commercial officers to account for key government programs in their regions.
Why is the local governments not responsive to investors?
We've been trying hard, and recently we launched a PPP project for the markets, and up to now we have...
He criticized them for their failure to effectively implement government projects.
All these commercial officers are the ones who are supervising machines which are not working. Like all the machines for SCDP, all the rice, there is no rice in Ajolo. They have more than 80 rice hullers in the whole region. 80. So, what is the problem?
General Saleh did not spare any technocrats present, holding them accountable for the underperformance in various sectors.
You have more than 100 rice mills in the work area. Why are they not working?
Thank you. The seasonality of the productions of the rice is an issue. Then number two, our people who produce rice, immediately they produced, they are unable to keep because of the high needs for money.
Despite the considerable government programs and funds allocated to northern Uganda, particularly the Acholi sub-region, Saleh expressed disappointment with the low pace of development on the ground.
You have the land, you have the PDM money now for production, so why is processing not taking off? These are the people who came from Kabeka, they are looking for sunflower, rice, maize, soybean, sim, but we did a scan and you can't even get 2,000 tons.
To local leaders, he urged them to stop soliciting money from investors, emphasizing that such practices undermine development efforts.
Don't ask money from these guys when the business is still starting. You wait until the business matures and then they are confident and then they can.
General Saleh was officiating at the launch of the Made in Uganda Africa showroom in Gulu City, an initiative aimed at promoting local products and businesses.
When I see this today, it's overwhelming that it's possible for us to also have an industrial park here in Gulu.
Today at this grand event, please allow me to introduce Kabeka Industrial Park to everyone. development of Liaoshen Natural Park is in line with the Uganda government BUBU policy. Currently, there are 30 factories set in the park.
This is about business. We all study supply chains. This is actually about supply chain. What is a supply chain? To make products come closer to the people so that they are not inconvenienced. So, next time when we come here, this is going to be the biggest market of people who have been complaining about the cost of lorries, the cost of fuel. It is now going to come here. If you want fertilizer, you want machinery, you want whatever equipment you are interested in. So this is about logistics. And
now, the Archbishop Emeritus of Kampala, Emmanuel Cardinal Wamala, has encouraged Christians to not only celebrate the festive season, but also to thank God for their lives and achievements. The Cardinal made these remarks while addressing his grandchildren, led by State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, during the celebrations marking his 98th birthday at his home in Zambia. Let's hear more.
The celebration to mark Emmanuel Cardinal Wamala's 98th birthday began with a mass led by the director of the Cardinal's home, Reverend Father Paul Mugerwa, assisted by Monsignor Charles Kasibante and a cross-section of priests.
Awuno Katonda wa kitiibwa nera atugamba nti kyannaku nnyo abamu mumwe temugenda kudda mu kusisinkana.
Cardinal Wamala encouraged Christians to use the festive season not just for celebration, but as an opportunity to thank God for their lives and achievements, giving true meaning to Christmas. He expressed gratitude to those who have supported him throughout his life, especially Dr. Muyingo, and appealed to Christians to always emphasize supporting those in need, forgiveness and unity. The State Minister for Higher Education and leader of Cardinal Wamala's grandchildren, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, congratulated the Cardinal on his 98th anniversary and praised his significant contributions during his service in various religious positions. Cardinal Wamala was ordained as a bishop in 1981, becoming the first bishop of Chinda Mitiana. He was appointed Archbishop of Kampala in 1991 and later made a cardinal by the Pope in 1994. Mutonyi Hilda and Salon Kasibante Fred for UBC.
The Minister of Information, Communications and Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomansi, has urged communities to celebrate responsibly during this festive season. Speaking at a wedding of Geoffrey and Jennifer Hashaka at Gasovu Church of Uganda in Nyakisuza Sub-County, Kisoro District, Dr. Baryomansi encouraged religious leaders to avoid misleading their fellow followers with false promises or distorting gospel teachings, as we hear more in this report.
Kandi ababiri kitegero cokozwaho ibyaha bagume muri wowe nawe muri bo iminsi yose. Amen.
As families around the world come together to celebrate Christmas and welcome the New Year, Minister of Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi highlighted the importance of exercising caution during the festivities.
Sometimes when they overdo it, they cause violence in homes. So we akakushara no kwegendereza ebiro bikuru tubirabe mukurungi duige ahakamusya bene badengera omakamusya babero ko kusinje nemba bazaruhanga mwebale.
Congratulating Geoffrey and Jennifer Hashaka on their union at Gasovu Church of Uganda in Nyasusiza Sub-County, Kisoro District, Dr. Baryomunsi emphasized that marriage is the foundation of a peaceful and united society.
Prime Minister Jennifer njakubahereza yende family njakubahereza yo ende as a gift, the marriage gift njakuterekanisa.
He reassured residents of Kisoro that the government remains committed to constructing the Mugahinga and Buguri Moko windy tourism roads, urging patience as the plans continue to move forward.
We are in advanced stages of finalizing arrangements to have this road tarmac, and Honorable Alex Yusuf is one of those who have been championing this road and to use as a government. I mean, I don't say mirongo ntabwo andi twakubiye agamba kandi tujya kuyije mirongoti twenda ko mbeke mirongoti igana 30 omuyanga omu ministry kandi tujya kujoka kuri ya mutunge network. Aliyo
the Right Reverend Bishop Geoffrey Mbitse of Muhabura Diocese, who officiated the ceremony, encouraged couples to nurture love, mutual respect and open communication as a means of addressing the rising issue of domestic violence. Bishop Mbise also criticized deceptive preachers who exploit their followers by linking blessings to expensive offerings, urging Christians to use discernment and reject such misleading practices. King Caesar Mulenga of the King Caesar Development Kingdom, which spans 7 districts in the Chigezi sub-region, praised Geoffrey Hashaka, his prime minister, for being a model husband and a family man.
Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God.
He reminded the congregation that love is life's most valuable virtue.
In Christ Jesus for you.
Geoffrey Hashaka, Prime Minister of the Kingdom, expressed gratitude to Bishop Mbitse and requested to join the Fathers Union and other church programs, promising his continued service to the church. Kate Atuzarire compiled the story for UBC.
Congratulations to the newly wedded couple. The State House Anti-Corruption Unit, SACHU, in coordination with security intelligence agencies, have conducted a raid at BEP Auto Garage in Entebbe, uncovering 40 metallic boxes containing suspected counterfeit US dollars valued at approximately $2 million US.
Security operatives launched a coordinated operation at BEP Auto Garage, located near the post office in Entebbe, following a tip-off. The operation was prompted by intelligence indicating suspicious goods being held at Entebbe International Airport.
So during the month of May and October, State House Anti-Corruption Unit received information about a consignment which was closely being suspiciously being held at Entebbe International Airport. Together with other security agencies, we are closely been monitoring this consignment and using CCTV cameras at the Entebbe Airport and also police cameras. we managed to trace where the consignment was taken to.
During the search, approximately 40 metallic boxes were discovered, some of which contained counterfeit US dollars totaling to $2 million. Several of the boxes had been deliberately filled with soil to give them the appearance of being heavier, likely in an attempt to deceive the intended recipients. Some boxes were disguised as shipping containers for legitimate goods, but upon inspection, they were found to contain useless items, including empty crates of beer and soda. Kennedy Odonkara confirmed that one individual has been arrested and is currently assisting authorities in identifying the masterminds behind the counterfeit operation.
So today, together with invited representatives from Civil Aviation Security, Entebbe Police, the local leaders and a few neighbors, we managed to conduct a search at the said garage. And the search, and as we were conducting the search, we managed we found 40 boxes containing suspected counterfeit US dollars amounting to about $2 million US.
Shaku had been monitoring the consignment since receiving tips in May and October regarding suspicious activity at Entebbe International Airport. Surveillance efforts intensified when the consignment was covertly moved from the airport to BEP Auto Garage in Entebbe. The investigation is ongoing, with authorities working to apprehend additional suspects connected to the counterfeit currency operation.
Now, Ministry of Health and Development partners like UNICEF sustain the awareness creation in helping to combat malnutrition in children under 5 in Ankole sub-region. The awareness has focused on teaching mothers how to feed their children nutritious foods and be valuable in maintaining a proper sanitation and hygiene in homes.
Western Uganda has been experiencing high levels of childhood malnutrition despite being known as the country's food basket. It is against this backdrop that the Ministry of Health and UNICEF, with support from UK Aid, started implementing a number of interventions geared at combating malnutrition among children under 5 in Western Uganda. One of the most pronounced interventions is teaching mothers how to feed their children with nutritious foods. This is done both at community level and health facilities. This is followed with empowering mothers to have vegetable gardens around their homes.
We teach mothers, when you're there at your place, you don't need a very big space to have these crops grown. So we show them on how you can use a small space to intercrop, to get various types of crops in the same area. So we teach them on how to start a nursery bed, on how you transplant them. And as you've seen, there is mulching. We do mulching so that the crops can grow well and they are well nourished, so that they can give us a good yield.
A mother of 2 from Kahunga sub-county in Kamwenge district, Agnes Museveni, explains how mothers in this western part of Uganda have benefited from nutrition initiatives.
For our children would get diseases, but for us, we didn't know why are they getting diseases. So after teaching us, we got to know that the problem is that we are not feeding them how it is needed. We are not feeding them good food which can build their bodies. But after teaching us, we have discovered that food can also work as medicine.
This intervention is coupled with empowered village health teams to detect malnourished children have reduced the number of malnutrition cases requiring admission in health facilities.
We have trained health workers, the VHTs, through UNICEF. That's why I said UNICEF has done a very good job for us. We really appreciate the work they are doing for us.
I measure
the centimeters from the shoulder to the elbow, and I bisect it into two. Where it meets the halfway, I have to get that tape measure and carve it to the arm, and I pass the sort of a needle, the apex of a tape measure through the hole, and it comes to make or to measure the centimeters. So when the arrows shows in the red, that one I have to know that is a severe or red mark. When it goes in yellow, that is moderate, and when it goes in green, that I have to know that that child is normal. So from there, for the outcomes, I have either to encourage the mother to continue whether the baby is in green color. When he is in a yellow color, I have to assist him and tell her what to give the baby in order to upgrade her immunity, the baby's immunity to go in a green color. And when I found the baby is in a red color, I have to refer where she can get the assistance for her baby.
So at community level, we are now screening to make sure that before someone deteriorates, we have already captured. That is, we have family-led work, whereby mothers themselves at home are able to assess using a MOAC tape and know, oh, my child is not well. Then monthly at the community level, they come and they do weight taking to ensure that the growth is monitored. So before it deteriorates, the interventions are already given.
Like especially in trainings and community programs, we can see the cases have become few. We no longer have a lot of blood transfusions related to malnutrition. We no longer have a lot of abortions related to malnutrition. We no longer have serious admissions in the wards. Actually, I can say the admissions have reduced for very severe malnutrition cases in the wards. So that one has been actually a serious reduction, and I can say this is a great improvement.
However, identified cases of severe malnutrition are managed at Mbarara Regional Referral Hospital, where therapeutic foods are administered.
Which is largely based on our granite, what we call D, but we have added other minerals and vitamin mix to make what is suitable for a child who is now severely malnourished. Popularly known here as Plumpinant, RUTF or Rutafa. Rutafa meaning that the child will not die, so you are preventing the child from dying. So we can use the Plumpinant for the children who do not have other diseases, what we call medical complications. For example, if the child is severely wasted and also has severe malaria or has other complications, then we shall not treat that child using Plumpinant or OD alone, but instead we shall use therapeutic milk. You heard people talk about F75, is formulation 75, which is a specially formulated milk of a certain energy level, and then F100. So these are used for children who have medical complications.
The 2024 report released by Uganda National Bureau of Statistics shows that 26% of children under 5 years are stunted, while 10% of newborns are of low birth weight. Adia Nakoche, UBC.
Well, thank you very much for that health report. Now, the regions of Acholi, Lango and West Nile are uniting in prayer for the reconciliation, aiming to foster solidarity and drive development in the post-war northern Uganda. Since the end of LRA civil war, there have been tensions between the Acholi and the Madi, as well as conflicts between the Karamojong and Acholi and the Echole and the Lange. Let's hear more.
The Catholic Archdiocese of Gulu, led by Archbishop Emeritus Dr. John Baptist Odama, is hosting a one-week reconciliation prayer event for peace that is bringing together the three regions of Lango, West Nile, and Acholi. This gathering aims to unite the communities in solidarity and prayer for peace.
Because we had distorted our relationships, politically, some also religiously, and so on. So yes, I said we need to grow all together, alive in love. We should rally the whole of this region to come at least once to pray together for peace in our region.
The Bishop of Lira Diocese, Sanctus Lino Wanok, warned against misuse of artificial intelligence to harm humanity. In his address to the congregation, he urged political leaders and citizens to use the knowledge given by God to promote love and peace rather than destruction.
You are not like the kings of the world who are sending artificial intelligence to kill thousands of people. No, you are not that. Yours is to save life. You are not going to be one to be served, but it is you to serve.
Dr. Ambassador Olara Otunu, who was the guest speaker, emphasized the need for unity in Greater Northern Uganda, urging people to stop blaming each other for the crimes caused by political leadership.
It will require courage, it will require humility, it will require prayerfulness. This society is not well. This society is experiencing an existential challenge. Societal collapse. The aspect which is most easily discernible for us is to do with material well-being. You know, education and the economy and poverty and the state of health, because we can see and measure all that.
Peace Prayer Week attracted religious leaders, cultural leaders, politicians and other stakeholders, all working together to build a synodal church committed to peace and solidarity. Northern Uganda, which comprises 13 tribes, 10 different religious groups and 39 political parties, continues to strive for reconciliation and peace.
Now, a new 3-year project led by Link Community Development Uganda is to enhance gender equality, safeguard practices in schools across Malawi, Ethiopia and Uganda. In Uganda, the project will focus on 100 schools in Bunyoro sub-region, building on the successes of prior school transformation programs.
We are excited that this project has finally kicked off and it's going to run for the next 3 years, looking at gender equality, inclusion and safeguarding. This project directly feeds into the gaps, the knowledge gaps that has been for long around why do governments scale up certain interventions and leave out the others, and what are those factors that facilitate scale up, and what does scale up in itself looks like. So we're going to gather this evidence across 3 countries, including Malawi and Ethiopia, and in Uganda we're going to work in about 100 schools to look at the evidence that we're going to gather, to check what prompted government's choice to scale up certain interventions and what would a good scale up look like.
We will want governments to be well equipped with scale up guidelines and know how to mobilise that knowledge that we are generating from our research. I think when you talk about scale up, we really at the end of a certain period of time, after 10 years or so, we want children who are marginalised to really be able to access education in the same way as any other child.
As you're aware, government of Uganda has been focusing more
on issues around quality, inclusion and access. And I am really happy that this particular project is focusing on innovative approaches on inclusion, on safeguarding of young adults or young girls.
I have been with them in several engagements in the cell club formation, trying to sensitize children who have a negative mindset towards education, and the children who are going through hardships at the school level and even in the community level. But now we are seeing a great change. There is a great impact, an impact which is positive. They are responding and they are turning up. At least some 3 to 2 children have been registered back from the COVID time impact.
Now, the famous historian and lecturer at Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Mwambotia Ndebesa, says the current state of affairs in politics of Uganda dates back from the historical and structural challenges since 1960s. Professor Ndebesa reveals how the country battles with the absence of characteristics of nation building, including national identity and national cohesion, which has fueled division, especially in society.
The famous historian and lecturer at Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Mwambotia Ndebesa, says the current state of affairs in the politics of Uganda dates back from the historical and structural challenges since the 1960s.
We don't have principled politics. We have principled, we have politics of survival, politics of political position, politics of ndirawa.
Professor Ndebesa reveals how the country battles with the absence of the characteristics of nation building, including national identity and national cohesion, which has fueled division, especially in the society.
People shifting every other day, you know, people hopping from political party to political party, hopping from this political support to the other support. Politics of citizens being bribed during elections by a mere half a kilogram of salt.
Ndebesa further identifies the cause to this continuous nightmare.
For example, we need to fight over civic principle ideas and principles such as equality. Are we fighting over equality of different societies in Uganda? Are we fighting over certain regions having poverty levels of 60% and above, and others are in 10% and below? Are we fighting over equal participation in politics or equal access to the public space, freedom of assembly and association? Or are we fighting over who has eaten more than the other?
Understanding the core principles of democracy in Uganda is inevitable if the conversation of national politics is to receive space. This is timely as more key leaders on the political arena have amplified the voices calling for a national dialogue. The agenda of the dialogue is the question at play, with main opposition parties remaining divided.
Now when you don't have equal participation and the political space is not equal, that is a recipe for political conflicts which can later translate into political violence. So we have to practice democracy, but also attitudes. Have the attitudes we hold changed? Are they in consonant with democratic practices?
What informs competition and participation in the political space is outside the principles of democracy and nation building, but rather hatred, individual interests and division.
The internal fight in FDC was not about FDC. It was about self-interest. You don't fight your personal interests in a framework of an organization that is supposed to coalesce our interests.
This has seemingly left accountability and transparency to whom it may concern. The environment to favor active and equal participation remains toxic, affecting the democratic practices in the country.
That toxic environment has got to be dealt with through dialogue. So the solution is a national dialogue for everybody who is in power to realize that they will not be victimized even when they are out of power.
The Democratic Party President Norbert Mao 2 years ago moved to secure a working agreement with the ruling party, specifying efforts to cause for a national transition. Mao's agreement ends in 2026 with possibilities of renewing the cooperation with the NRM.
An election is not going to bring change. Change is going to be negotiated. And to negotiate, you need a seat at the table. And to get a seat at the table, you must have an agenda. Because talks are not about beauty. It is about your capacity.
While many independent analysts perceive Mao's strategy as a drop of ink in an ocean, Nyendo Mukungwe Masaka MP Mathias Mpuga, after disagreeing with the National Unity Platform Party, formed a political stage dubbed Democratic Alliance to influence, among others, transition agenda. Mathias Mpuga asserts how the existing opposition parties have since played the wrong card in the fight for the democratic space.
First of all, we want to understand fully and mark this. Our engagement with the ruling party, we want them to clearly inform the country how they view the transition.
So, we warn against the formation of myopic special purpose vehicles. Just like the vested interest in Mengo formed a special purpose vehicle and called it a political party, Kabaka Yeka.
Because of the historical challenges, the question and interest of dialogue as fronted by Mpuga and Mao remain food for thought.
Because you cannot talk of alliance. When you form because you are fighting NOP, you are angry with NOP, so you ally with who? With NRM? Why don't you just join NRM?
When I heard him very well, yeah, he quoted that his alliance will be strictly with those active political parties. So literally meaning that most of the parties
But is he active? Outside that meeting, has that alliance been anywhere?
The former leader of opposition in parliament, Ogengala Tigo, calls for what he described as democracy of consensus, urging that a government of national unity can be given a second thought.
And we've reached where we don't even need a democracy of political contestation. Because the road ahead is too rough. So what we need is a democracy of consensus. Disregard the parties that exist and sit down as a family and say, what is the situation and how do we move from here? Because that is the only thing that will allow a fresh opportunity for democracy to exist and work in the country. It also will be the only opportunity to bring down the deep discontent, anger, and even hatred.
Latigo gives experiences where he has engaged President Yoweri Museveni on issues of national development, irrespective of his political side.
It is not about me, it is about this country. And if this is what needs to be done for the country, I will do it.
But what is the NRM take on national dialogue?
The question is, why do we go into politics? We go into politics to make a contribution to make Uganda better. If you can make a contribution by joining hands with another political party, there should be no problem.
We can compare our visions The vision of the NRM is very well stated. What is the vision of the others?
The fate of the national dialogue, as claimed by some actors, remains a position to determine whether the elections are still considered a critical means of achieving agreeable and representative leadership as prescribed by the laws of the land. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Stop breathing. To be a winner, you must breathe only when necessary. Breathing is for losers. What is that? Did I give you permission to sweat? You can sweat in your free time. Push the arms straight.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
This is so much smoke. How you doing? My friends told me about an affordable solution. They're called Greenergy BioStove. Very clean and very safe. Let me call them right away.
Wow, can you believe these things are in just 45 minutes?
Greenergy ethanol stoves and fuel. Enjoy cleaner, healthier and affordable cooking. Cook your food in less than 2,000 shillings per day. No charcoal. Stop deforestation. We are looking for agents across Uganda. Greenergy, Bible Corner.
There is myths that so many of you live by. If your eye is twitching, it means you're going to see someone you like. If it shines and rains at the same time, it means a leopard is giving birth. If your hand is itching, it means you're going to get money. If you see an owl, it means somebody's gonna die. If you hear of a disease outbreak, just know it is in a village district at the border next to some suspicious country. You will want to scratch that last myth. Because Mpox is in 19 districts and Kampala is among with dozens of cases, please stop going around checking anyone's hand. Mpox kills. Protect your loved ones.
In a year that defied expectations, 2024 wrote its own remarkable story.
From moments that took our breath away to achievements that broke the boundaries of what's possible.
We invite you on an unforgettable journey through time.
Every triumph, every challenge, every breakthrough that made headlines, we're bringing them all back to life.
Be there for this must-watch 2024 in review.
At 5 p.m. on 31st December, exclusively on UBC TV,
Inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to the world of business. Now, as we look into the education budgets, a report by civil society highlights some gaps in the financing of public education. The 2024 reports analyze the education budget allocations from financial year 2021-2022 to financial year 2023-2024. Let's hear more in this report.
The Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, in partnership with Oxfam, assessed the government's financing for primary education over the 3 financial years from 2021-22 to 2023-24.
Now, when you look at Uganda's budget, over the last 4 years, it has been increasing from 48 trillion, 52, and now we are at 72 trillion. That would give you a trajectory where you think that maybe because the budget is increasing, we are also having increments in the education sector financing. But when you look at the actual education sector budget as a share of the national budget, the trends have been declining. We have moved from 12% to 13%, but currently we are at 8%. So
the report focused on a selection of remote government-aided primary schools in Abim and Nabila Tuk, Karamoja sub-region, as well as Madiokolo in Yumbe, West Nile sub-region.
It is the government which is paying us. Although the little we receive, it's not satisfactory. It is not supporting us in all the necessities. We earn less.
How much do you earn?
We earn only 250,000 per month. And that money cannot help sustain and even make the planning for other requirements. Yeah, like even purchasing a bicycle to help me move.
Despite an upward trajectory in the education budget, government funding remains inadequate to meet the demands of producing a high-quality and productive workforce.
The education system, as I said, took us from the villages, from the land, and brought us to the classroom and to the offices. And we said, oh, now the land is for the villagers, for those who are not educated. Without the land, what will you produce? You can't produce a service, you can't produce a product.
Uganda's current capitation grant for the Universal Primary Education Program is 20,000 per pupil per year, far below the National Planning Authority's recommended budget of 63,546 shillings for urban schools and 59,503 shillings for rural schools.
The education service delivery happens at local governments because local governments are the ones, especially for primary, they are the ones that have the primary schools. They are the ones where we have secondary schools. So, but when you look at the local government budget, vis-a-vis the budget we have, it is less than 10%.
Opportunities exist if resource allocation is strategically directed towards interventions that will foster a well-educated and productive citizenry. Wadulo Arnold Mark, UBC News.
To be a winner, you must have the discipline of a tiger. But when fueled with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations! Your car is happy, and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo.
Uganda, the festive season is here. It's time to dream big for those holiday vibes, play joyfully for perfect celebrations, and win moments that bring happiness into the new year.
I'm a my brother.
I'm a too. Whether you're dreaming with your family, playing under the Ugandan sun, or celebrating with loved ones, let joy, love, and laughter guide you this festive season.
I'm almost home, Chacha.
Every ticket is your chance to make this holiday even brighter.
Big gift, I promise you.
Stay safe, spread kindness, and let the spirit of play light up your holidays with magic and joy in 2025. Happy holidays, Uganda, from Ituba, the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
In a year that defied expectations, 2024 wrote its own remarkable story.
From moments that took our breath away to achievements that broke the boundaries of what's possible.
We invite you on an unforgettable journey through time.
Every triumph, every challenge, every breakthrough that made headlines, we're bringing them all back to life.
Be there for this must-watch 2024 in review.
At 5 p.m. on 31st December, exclusively on UBC TV,
Inspiring Uganda.
Now, as we sign out, let us quickly step into the world of sports as we talk about netball in Uganda, which recently voted executive committee has been sworn in. Our reporter was at Nobview Hotel in Tinda and now reports.
Jocelyn, Somisha, Uchanda.
Exactly 2 months and 1 day since assumption of office, Netball Uganda's executive committee has been sworn in at Nobview Hotel in Tinda.
This I swear to the best of my ability and the success of Netball Uganda. So help me God.
The Netball Uganda Executive Committee is led by President Jocelyn Uchanda, who has highlighted key areas to tackle to ensure the sport maintains its historic position as one of Uganda's most prominent.
And we are going to address governance issues, which include structures. We are going to set up a secretariat. We are going to form committees. We are coming up with a calendar that is going to highlight the activities of Netball Uganda. And also we are going to come up with a strategic plan, of which we have launched today, for Netball Uganda.
Netball Uganda comes into office after full certification by World Netball and a global rank of 6, while in Africa the She Cranes is second. William Bwambale is the first Vice President for Administration Matters, while Richard Muhumuza is second Vice President in charge of Technical Affairs. Amina Mande is Honorary Secretary, while the Treasurer is Yusuf Kamulegea. The new Executive Committee officially takes charge of the sport that has over the past been under the Normalization Committee that was set up by World Netball to address pertinent issues to ensure sanity.
The conversation we had during the day, earlier in the day, we touched on a number of things that have to be undertaken. So for us as the Normalization Committee, our work is coming to an end, and we would like to pass on the baton.
We have done our part to ensure that the mandate that we are given, we have pushed it to this level. We pray that whatever we have done, no matter what, does not get washed away. So we challenge you to hold on to the mantle with a lot of hope and enthusiasm, with all stakeholders, including the media, is on your side. So do not disappoint Ugandans and do not disappoint netball lovers.
The Netball Uganda Executive Committee that officially starts work on 1st January 2025 and will sign out in 2028 also has 8 regional representatives and 16 members of the Athletes Commission.
We are going to build institutions. You have heard we formed the Athletes Committee. The Athletes Committee will have a representation of the executive so that the interests of the athletes are also taken care of. We are also going to work with partners to raise funds to be able to support the activities of Netball Uganda. We are not only going to depend on government, we thank government who has been our major supports and pledge that they support us immediately so that we are able to take the She Cranes to participate in the Quad Series in the UK.
That's it from us. Thank you once again for choosing us right from 1 o'clock during the day. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Mugalu Mohammed has been with us on sign language. It's a good night from us, but UBC programming continues. Bye-bye.